Why do we fear the almost human? The psychology of the uncanny. Video by Chase. But let's get into this video. I feel like uncanny things do bother me like a lot. And I feel like what it is like it's like with AI too, you are so close to like presenting something so real, but then you know it's fake. But then like in your mind you're thinking like something weird like this, like it's possible by somebody. It's possible. And I feel like uncanny things it really deal with like with people like it get into their spirits. Like people that's like into like spirits and all that. Like I don't know. I feel like the uncanny, like something being so close to human and it is not, it bothers people. It bothers me. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing somebody like unhinge a jaw and like they jaw go all the way right here. Or seeing somebody like spread their arms all the way out, like it just it does something to me. Let's get into this video though.
About this feel wrong? The answer is probably yes, but you likely can't explain why. Why do entities that are almost human creep us out more than things that aren't human at all? How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. My name is Chase. Today we're going to be exploring the uncanny. Not just the uncanny valley and why humanoid robots or realistic looking dolls make us feel.
I despise robots. I had a nightmare when I was in seventh grade. We was doing something on robots, bro, and I had a nightmare for like weeks about robots. And then my brother he had this story about like he had a story about an animatronic lion that was hunting us. And mind you, this is at the same time where we learned about the AIs, the robots, the like dancers, robot strippers, and all that. He had a dream about me and him, and there was this robotic lion that was hunting us. We just kept escaping it, kept dodging it, and then eventually, I died in his dream, and that just boosted on to the fact that like I like the AIs, robots, like it all ties into the uncanny thing, like this real life like thing that's not real life that looks real. I don't know. I don't know.
Creeped out, but I want to go a step farther and explore the uncanny as a whole, and instances in life where that same feeling may be invoked. Let's get right into it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy. I don't want to waste time explaining what the uncanny valley is because I feel like most of you guys probably already know by now. It's not exactly a niche thing, it's talked about all the time now online. If you're watching this video, I assume you probably already know what it is. But for anyone who's completely in the dark, the term Uncanny Valley was first used by Japanese roboticist Masahiro Mori. Mori spent the 1960s working on machines that were designed to mimic human movement and appearance. He noticed a trend of people generally responding more positively to robots that were more human-like. But this was only up until a certain point. Eventually, the robots reach a stage where they become too human-like while still having characteristics that clearly identify them as being not human. At this point, people begin to react with extreme discomfort and are very avoidant. Mori took note of his observations in an essay written in the 1970s, and the term the Uncanny Valley was coined. Later in the video, we're gonna get into a few theories about why entities that closely resemble us make us feel this way, but before we do that, I want to try to define what the uncanny actually is. One of the first people to really explore the concept of the uncanny was the founding father of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud. In Freud's 1919 work, Das Unheimliche, or in English, The Uncanny, Freud describes the uncanny as the class of terrifying which leads back to something long known to us, once very familiar. Which is to say that the uncanny is something that feels familiar and alien at the same time. Something that should feel ordinary or mundane feels off-putting. You see, Freud believed that much of human behavior was driven by repressed desires, fears, and memories. These pieces of you are often buried deep within your subconscious mind. When the uncanny arises, it is this repressed content being driven to the surface. So beliefs that you're more likely to hold as a child when you don't really understand the way the world works yet, like believing in magic, or spirits possessing objects, and your toys being able to move by themselves. When something in the world provokes these old repressed beliefs, the result is that strange, unsettling feeling, the uncanny. To Freud, things like hyper-realistic dolls and machines are uncanny because they blur the line between the animate and inanimate, our expectations of what it means to be alive, conscious, and human.
That's why, like, seeing, you know, you do one of the. I remember when AI first started, like making like AI versions of people. The Will Smith. It used to be Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Like I remember, like we thought it was a dude that looked like, no, it was AI, and like it had Will Smith and Martin Lawrence on in the corner eating spaghetti that's what really like that's when I knew AI was already getting too far advanced. When they had Will Smith and AI eating spaghetti on the ground and had them dancing in the street, I was like, nah.
Another different interpretation of the uncanny comes from French psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan, who significantly reinterpreted much of Freud's work. Lacan believed that there are 3 different orders or registers that describe different dimensions of the human experience. These 3 registers, the imaginary, the symbolic, and the real, explain how we form our own self-identity and how we interact with the world around us.
Hold on. Let's look at this graph real quick again. Look at this graph real quick again. Imaginary, symbolic, and real. These are the 3 things that make things uncanny.
The imaginary is the realm of images, fantasies, and self-identity, shaped by early experiences and identifications, most notably the mirror stage. The mirror stage often occurs during infancy, when the child is first able to recognize their reflection as themselves. Seeing and recognizing this reflection is when your self-identity begins to form. However, it's based on a misrecognition. It's kind of that same feeling that you get when you look at old pictures of yourself. Neither a reflection or a picture is actually capable of fully capturing who you are. The second register is the symbolic, and it is the realm of language and social structure. The symbolic shapes the way that we think, speak, and relate to other people. We use language to represent real things, but our unconscious associations shape our understanding. For example, if I were to say the word dog, we both know what kind of animal I'm talking about. But your past experiences shape the way you feel. If you've had numerous bad encounters with dogs, you probably don't like them very much. Those past experiences might invoke a negative connotation around the word. But I've
Man, let's talk about these dogs. What card was this, bro? I forgot, but I remember playing this, bro, and them dogs was something serious, bro.
never really had a super negative experience with a dog, so even though we're talking about the same
I
thing,
love dogs though. I got 4 of them. R.I.P. to Sage and Ray. They passed away 2 years ago. R.I.P. to y'all. But we got Chase, Lurk, Stro, and Pepper. Chase, Pepper, Stro. They're pit bulls, and we got Lurk. He's a Borble. I love Lurk. He's smart and he's big as shit.
our associations with that thing are entirely different. The real is the final register, and it resists the other 2. When I say that it resists the other 2 registers, what I mean by that is that it cannot be fully put into words or images. The real is experienced when the other 2 registers are challenged or fractured, most commonly through traumatic experiences, where something that is meaningful to us is taken away or torn apart. Imagine you're walking down the sidewalk with one of your friends, and out of nowhere, a car swerves off the road and hits them, and just like that, they're gone. This would be an encounter with the real.
Man, this is one of my favorite shows, bro. This is one of my favorite shows, bro. Y'all gotta get into this. Look at my guy Huey. R.I.P. I forgot his girl name, but Huey, my guy.
Would be standing there frozen in shock, unable to process what just happened. The other 2 orders were
It's the
just ruptured,
boys.
because there's no way you would ever be able to explain that experience in words or images. To Lacan, the uncanny is a glimpse past the symbolic and into the real. You're seeing something that isn't alive, but it almost seems like it might be. The boundaries between what is alive and what's not collapse, and the result is the uncanny. The real is pressing through.
That's why I'm glad I didn't have a little sister that was playing around with dolls and shit. Especially like them I forgot what them the dolls are. That's like the little babies, but they got like a big ass face and the big ass eyeballs. I hated those. And I used to never fuck with mannequins either.
Something that is outside our comprehension. So does the uncanny creep us out because of repressed childhood beliefs or a glimpse past the symbolic and imaginary orders? Maybe that's a part of it, I'm not the one to say. The uncanny is very hard to define and to put into words.
I think the uncanny that bothers most people is that like it looks real but isn't human like, isn't natural, but it looks real. Like I feel like with CGI, like you had that doll. Yeah, fuck them dolls. I don't know. Hell no. Like, it didn't look like the what's the Megan the Megan the horror like the movie. Seeing dolls that had like the Megan eyes. Nah, nah. I'll boot that bitch. Burn it. Yep. Nah.
But there have been several other theories proposed as to why we evolved to fear the almost human. The mate selection theory states that uncanny features may signal poor reproductive health or genetic defects. We evolved to be repulsed by the almost human because they could signal low fitness in potential mates. From an evolutionary standpoint, mate selection involves subconscious checks for reproductive fitness. Traits commonly associated with the uncanny, like lifeless eyes or pale skin, could indicate infertility or developmental issues. These traits unconsciously trigger this feeling of rejection to avoid passing on
It's just like you seeing yours could walk and talk. Hell nah. Go burn that motherfucker. Some people attracted have to deal with the reason that we don't like seeing unnatural unnatural movements or like features on something that looks real. Let me
the
hear
weak genes.
the
I'm kind of going to
scientific.
spoil my own beliefs on this. I think that the uncanny is a conglomerate of a bunch of different things. This is one of the only ones that I think I would count out entirely. Because, first of all, I see people that I'm not attracted to all the time, and I would not classify them as uncanny or
Right, I see people that I don't find attractive all the time, and I don't think they are uncanny. It's just you just not my type. I don't think you're alien.
say that I'm repulsed by them. And besides that, I wouldn't be able to look at a male doll or figurine and feel that same uncanny sensation because I'm interested in women. So I don't think the uncanny valley has anything to do with mate selection or avoiding
Yeah, I
passing
was gonna say I don't see the tie between those two. I don't.
on weak genes. Another theory is disease avoidance. Strange and unnatural features might subconsciously remind us of symptoms of illness, triggering an avoidant reaction to reduce the risk of infection. Evolution, of course,
I
favored
can see
humans who could
that.
detect early signs of
Like if uh like if you got some like disease or some like like you got some disease or like some sort of condition to where like your whole face is like that, you know what I'm saying? Then I can see like people or I know some people like when some people see people that have like burn markings and like all the skin is like it's burned, like kids will look at them and be scared because like it doesn't look normal. I can see this.
illness in others and avoid them. Features like odd coloring and sluggish robotic movement are often found in figures that fall into the uncanny valley, but they can also be signs of illness. We may be seeing these features as signs of possible illness, invoking an avoidant reaction. The predator avoidance theory states that the uncanny
Isn't this Moo
valley
Moo?
may be a side effect
Isn't this Moo Moo? I don't think I ever got scared in Moo Moo video. But she did bother me. This is Moo Moo, right? Chloe, I know you know is this Moo Moo or not. Is these boo boo? Fuck boo boo.
Of our predator detection systems. A being that looks almost human, but not quite, could set off primal alarm bells of spotting a predator wearing a human disguise. This would also explain why the robotic movement makes this feeling more pronounced, because the jerky unnaturalness of it resembles something pretending to be human. This is the other one that I'm not too sure about because, as far as I know, there's never been a predator that closely mimicked human behavior. Since the Uncanny Valley is a pretty universal feeling, it wouldn't make sense for it to be passed down to everyone if it wasn't benefiting our survival. Obviously, predator detection would be incredibly important to early human survival, but specifically fearing the almost human and human mimics seems a little bit out there. Unless our ancestors were regularly encountering skinwalkers and Wendigo, it doesn't really make sense to me for
This boo boo scared you. It is. It is. Yeah, bro. But like, you know how like certain like with my chickens, for instance, they just naturally assume that everything bigger or looking at them is a threat. Like they'll be cool with like I got sheep too, so like the chickens will be cool with the sheep. But once the sheep get too close, like they can back up. I don't know what you're trying to get into, but I also cause chickens are dumb. Like my dog would be right there, and the chicken would just walk right to him, thinking like, "Oh, he's not a threat. He ain't doing that to me." Is it like a? I don't know, cause I don't know like if humans were ever like we were ever like, did we ever evolve from the stage of being like we preyed on? So I guess us like if we was never like preyed on, we never had like. Hold on, let me let's say a bird. Okay, birds. Birds are born in like like born into an instinct to be scared. Like they are prey items. They get hunted. But like I'm saying, I don't think humans were ever preyed upon. So I think seeing something uncanny doesn't bother majority of the people because as humans, I don't think we ever evolved from a stage where we was praised. Like we were prey items.
this trait to be passed down to everybody. Because seeing a saber-toothed tiger standing in front of you and then seeing a mannequin that looks like it might be alive are two completely different
That is just
feelings.
too completely different.
The corpse recognition theory states that uncanny features often mirror traits found in corpses or mortally ill humans. Again, with the waxy skin and glassy eyes, but also the rigid posture and slack facial expressions. These traits make us feel uncomfortable because of a subconscious association we
Yeah, that doesn't look appealing to like that's not appealing to look at all though. I'm sure if you see somebody walking around like that will like you know what I'm saying? Like this is not something that you will. This is not eye appealing. If I see this, I'm gonna be scared too.
have between them and death. This one is pretty similar to the disease avoidance theory, which is why I waited to cover this one as well. Both of these theories make sense to me.
Yeah,
It's just
this makes
part of your
sense.
brain trying to keep you alive. And part of staying alive is keeping you healthy and avoiding getting sick. Of course, staying around sick, dying, or dead people is probably suboptimal for your health and well being as a human. So your brain subconsciously steers you away and says, maybe staying around this isn't the best idea. The other hominid hypothesis states that the Uncanny Valley is a leftover from when we coexisted with other human like hominins, like
Do y'all think there was multiple different hominids or humans? I'm all open to like people and their theories and things like that. Cause I think at some point there were giants. Yes, I think so too. But like Neanderthals, I don't think we came from Neanderthals. I think that's Corley. But I think I think like there's Neanderthals, there's other humans, and we always been what we are. And maybe the Neanderthals like they just went extinct, like they died off because we were like way more advanced than them. And then maybe some smart human was just looking at a Neanderthal, made them, and like they just kept some Neanderthal. Because some of these people look like this. I got a coach. Had deep ass eye sockets, like deep ass, like Neanderthal type eye sockets. And maybe like he got some genes from these niggas, maybe thousands of years ago, but maybe they mix cross paths, so maybe they was different human hominids, whatever you say that word.
Neanderthals and Denisovans. Our encounters with these species may have regularly involved competition for things like resources and food, leading to a hardwired caution response for almost human faces. Even though we're now the only remaining hominin species left, our brain may have retained this evolutionary suspicion towards anything that may resemble a separate tribe. Alright, I know I said I'm only counting a couple of these out, and I don't know if I want to count this one out completely.
Yeah, I don't think you count this one out. This would make sense. This does make sense. Like you see other human like faces when you were like back in those times. Like oh we see the niggas with the big nose, deep eye sockets. We don't like them. Big eyeballs. We don't like them. It makes sense.
But to me, it definitely seems very unlikely. Maybe it's a part of
It
it
makes
because I can
sense.
see how we would be competing with other species of humans for food and resources. But personally, I would not breed with something or someone that I found to be uncanny looking. And
Yeah, I wouldn't be breeding with something that don't look right. A lot of niggas do, but I wouldn't.
we know that early Homo sapiens bred with Neanderthals. There are people in the world right now who have more Neanderthal DNA
Right. There's people in the world that look like Neanderthals.
than you or I because their ancestors bred with Neanderthals. So again, I don't think this one holds a lot of weight. The category ambiguity theory states that we as people like to put things into categories, and we prefer to be able to tell definitively whether something is human or not. If you look at an object, you put it into the category of not being alive. But if that object is a doll or mannequin that looks somewhat like a real person, our brains try and fail to force a classification, creating that unsettling feeling.
I heard of that. Like I heard it like when the human mind can't process something, it doesn't like it. A lot of dumb people can't process a lot of things, but you like let's say like if you don't understand a certain like math problem, it bothers you. Like damn, I don't know this. Some people can just break it off and be like I don't give a fuck. But trying to like the like your mind like because we so smart like trying to put something together and like understand it and like you can't get this to make sense, it bothers you. So I could see this too.
This one
I
is
can see
pretty
this.
straightforward and it makes a lot of sense to
Yeah,
me.
this makes
It
sense.
kind of ties back to Lacan's theory of the other orders being challenged. I used a dog earlier as an example, so I'm going to use that again. Could you imagine coming home one day and your dog is speaking to you fluently? Maybe
I'll be cool though. Like what up, Chase? I'm expecting the bar. He be like, "What up, nigga? Oh, you can talk." Like I think it'd be cool. It'd be weird, but it'd be cool. I don't think I'd be bothered. It'd be funny to like hear what my dog say, especially to show the old man every time I mail man. Like imagine like somebody delivering mail, and the dog be like, "Man, get the fuck on. Your ass come here every day. Move." Like it'd be funny.
after a while you get used to it, it might even be kind of cool for a little bit, but your immediate reaction, or at least my immediate reaction, would be that uncanny feeling
Yeah.
because part of what I know about dogs is that they don't speak. So if my dog
Like dog with a block. What was that dog name? Stan. Stan was cool. Did he die in real life? Did like the dog actor? R.I.P. Stan.
started speaking to me, it's breaking my classification of what a dog is. Another theory is the violation of social norms. As humans, we have behavioral expectations for others baked into our DNA. You can think about something like eye contact. Generally, we all feel comfortable holding eye contact for short durations of time, usually
Right. Socially norm. Okay. So this would fall under like he's saying eye contact for short. Oh. Bless me, thank you. Okay. He's saying social norm. So seeing something that's not normal will bother you. Makes sense. Imagine you walking in somebody walking to the store Y'all make eye contact. Hey, what's up? Then after the hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? That would bother me too. Thank you. That would bother me too. Like if I'm speaking to some random person, they just lock eyes with me and don't break contact after I broke contact. Okay, what you what's the deal? Or let's say you in a like let's say you in school, you're in the lunch line, and the person in front of you is just walking around like this and like overly like exaggerates his scoop. That would bother me. Or like they drop all the way down, and when they come up, they just oh three four like that. That would bother me too.
Between 2 to 5 seconds. But when you meet a person who is breaking eye contact
sense.
too frequently or holding it for too long, it makes you feel uneasy. Our brain is subconsciously noticing that the behavior being exhibited feels like mimicry, and it flags the entity as being possibly deceptive or manipulative. Again, this one makes sense to me, and I can definitely see how this would be a part of it. I've definitely met people in my life who make eye contact for way too long or make it too intensely, so maybe the Uncanny Valley is just that, but the next step up. It's the same feeling, but just a more intense version. So in conclusion, we don't really know what the Uncanny is, or why these things that fall into the Uncanny Valley disturb us so much. While we don't have a definitive reason for the Uncanny Valley's existence, it's likely the result of multiple systems overlapping.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of some of these like theories are like whatever how you say these. It's a lot of these being together that creates
Rather than just having one specific cause. It reveals just how deeply we care about what it means to be human, and how violated we can feel when something blurs the line between that boundary. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that you learned.
Okay, that's the end of the video. Shout out to Chase.